Hey there, and welcome back to my channel on Life After 50. Today's episode is all about changing your career later in life. Now, many of us get to a point where we look around and we've been climbing that career ladder and we get to the top or near the top and we start looking around and we're like, oh my goodness, this isn't where I wanted to be. Well, if you're over 50 and you want to make a career change, maybe to do something a little bit different, heck, maybe to do something a lot different, you can do this. A lot of people I talk to feel like they're stuck because they got a law degree, they practiced law for 20 years, and they don't have any other option. Well, no, we live in a world where you have more options than you can imagine. However, it's not always easy, and you have to be clear about what you want to do. And along the way, you might have to make some sacrifices. But if you want to make a career change later in life, I have 3 tips for you that will help you set the groundwork so that eventually you can make that switch. Doesn't mean you can do it a week from Friday. It takes time to build the network. It takes time to build the skills, and it takes time to be really clear on what you want to do. So my first tip is all about networking. You know, most opportunities in life come directly from people who you know. So when people are looking for jobs, they often think, oh, I need to find the right executive search firm, or I need to find a resume coach, or I need to find this, that, or the other thing. No, what you really need to do is have a network in place of key people who are part of your inner circle, who want to see you succeed, who've known you for a long time, and who understand what your strengths and weaknesses are. When you have a really good network of key people who you've built these relationships with over time, you'll be surprised how many people might bring an opportunity your way. This has happened to me throughout my career. When I was younger, and even now that I'm in that more seasoned gray stage of my life, people bring me opportunities because they've known me for 5, 10, 15, or 20 plus years, so they know who I am. Throughout my career, I switched industries several times, and people were always amazed. They're like, how did you go from, working in sales at a chamber of commerce to being the marketing director for a law firm to later working for a consulting firm and then becoming a professional speaker who traveled the world giving keynote talks? Well, all of those opportunities came to me because of people I had in my network. So invest now. If you're watching this video before you're 50, that's even better. But at any age, you can start investing in people. Now, it takes a couple of years to build real, meaningful relationships. But here's the thing. If it takes you 5 years to build relationships, you can still change jobs or recreate your career 5 years from now. I know people who are working, who are over 70 years old, who are thriving, who are having the best years of their life. And if you go back through history and look at business success, many people, heck, most people, didn't really hit their stride until after they were 55 years old. So don't be worried about, oh, I'm too old, or how will I ever build a network? Just get out there and start making connections. And if you're going to build a network, you got to remember it's a two-way street. So long before anybody's going to help you and bring you opportunities, you've got to be willing to serve people. If you're going to build relationships, they have to be mutually beneficial relationships. So don't go in thinking, well, I met all these people, they didn't do anything for me. Don't keep score. And if you're going to keep score on how many people you have helped fulfill their dreams. If you don't know of anyone that you've helped succeed in the last few years, why would you ever imagine anyone would help you? So your network is super important. My second tip is work really hard on building your communication skills, both written and spoken. If you've never participated in a Toastmasters group, my recommendation is you join one today and participate every single week for the next year. Because if you can learn to clearly and concisely communicate, tell people who you are, why you do so well in your career, and be able to talk your way through any weaknesses that you might have in your resume, and to really play up the strengths that you have in your resume, people are going to think you're smarter, and they're going to be more likely to hire you. If you struggle with communicating with other people, one-on-one or when making a presentation, that's going to limit your opportunities. So you have to work really hard on those communication skills. And I think that Toastmasters is the smartest thing that anyone out there can do. Now, if you want to fast track that, you can hire a speech coach and a communications coach. Great. If you have the means to be able to do that, that's awesome. But you're going to have to put in the time and you're going to have to do the work to improve those communication skills. But don't stop with the spoken word. You want to be able to make sure that you can communicate in writing, both long form, but also that you can communicate in writing on social media. Are you using LinkedIn to tell your network who you are, what you do, how you do it so well, and what opportunities you might be looking for? It is so common that people either poorly communicate when it comes to social media, or they don't communicate at all in that model. Well, here's the thing. If you're looking for a job in today's world and you're not super active on LinkedIn and you don't have a profile that is written to make you pop, why would anyone find you? Most recruiters find the people who make the final slate that they present to the companies that they're representing. They find most of those candidates through LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn profile and how it's written and the keywords you use and how you build excitement in your strengths really matters. But also, if you're using other social media, are you positioning yourself as an expert in the field? Make videos. That's another way to communicate, right? That is the spoken word, but often you have to pre-plan what you're going to talk about through writing and then learn to be able to look into the camera and let your personality come across. I mean, I'll tell you, some of you watching this right now are like, I don't like that guy. But others are like, he's interesting. I want to see more about what he talks about. Not everyone has to like you, just somebody who can bring you that next opportunity. So pay attention to all the different ways that you can communicate and become an expert in communicating in a lot of different manners so that you can hit a lot of different people. So they know you're out there, they know what you do, and they think about you when they have an opportunity. And my final tip is don't be worried about ageism. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm old enough now where I'm starting to see it. I'm seeing some 30-year-olds discredit me because I'm pushing 60 years old. And they're like, well, obviously he doesn't know anything. Well, you know what? That's their problem. I also the other day spoke to somebody who's about to hire a bunch of people for his growing company. And he's looking for people who are over 45. He's willing to pay them a little bit more, but he wants them because he wants the experience, he wants the work ethic, and he wants people who he can relate to inside his company. Now, he's not ruling out hiring some great younger people, but he isn't ruling out hiring older people as well. Now, if you're over 65, there is going to be even more pushback than there would be if you're younger. However, maybe you create your own business. Maybe you become a consultant, or you become known as being so good in the niche of your industry that it doesn't matter how old you are. They want to hire you. At the end of the day, if you're the person who they want, they're going to mix up sort of what they need and what they said they wanted when they started the job search to be able to hire you. So don't worry about ageism. If you run into it, I'm sorry, it's going to happen. If you run into people who discredit you because of your age, or they don't want to hire you for that reason, realize that there are jerks out there who size people up and put them on a shelf everywhere. It happens to everybody. So don't get discouraged by ageism. Look them in the eye and go to work for their competitor and kick their butt. That's the best thing. I actually saw somebody who did not get a job because they were older. They took the job with the competitor and they outsold them. When the other company came back a year later and said, hey, we'd like to talk to you again, he told them not a chance, because here's what you did before. And he continued to beat them at every single turn. Nothing's better at beating ageism than by showing somebody you can outperform them. So don't be scared of ageism. Realize that it's a real thing and go out and find a position that's going to work for you and then excel at it. So if you're looking to make some sort of a career change in the second half of life, it can happen. You can do it, but it's going to take work. You're going to have to roll up your sleeves. You're going to have a thick skin because you're going to have some road bumps along the way. However, I fully believe that you can do it. I know, because I'm doing it too.